welcome back to the TerrorVision Home Video Podcast live for week 5 of the 13 weeks of Halloween. Ryan, you've been MIA. How you feeling?
I'm fine. Yeah, I went to LA and all I got was thrown into a hospital. No, I'm all right. I still kind of feel like shit to a degree, but I ended up flying down south because my mom had emergency surgery just 2 days ago or something. So that was my first real venture out of my house in 2 weeks after the LA thing. And she's recovering, thankfully. So everything seems to be okay.
Good to hear.
Thanks for asking.
Good to hear. What's going on with Brad?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Everything's been perfect these last couple weeks then?
Absolutely not. I've had the worst week of my life this year, or this past week, and it's just been overall busy. This episode is dedicated to Brad's dog. Thank you. That was what the news was, is my oldest dog passed away. Did euthanasia at the house. It was pretty sad. So it kind of threw me for, that's one of the reasons why we kind of just dropped Patchwork, which we can talk a little bit about tonight. We just kind of dropped Patchwork in the, on the store. Really wasn't feeling up to doing a live stream, and it was already kind of hectic that week. So,
yeah.
But yeah.
Well, you want to get into Patchwork a little bit? Because that was the big announcement last week. Nice deluxe hard box release, full 4K Blu-ray CD, 3-disc set. Some people pretty excited about it, which I'm glad to see.
Yeah, we're excited about it too. I like Tyler McIntyre quite a bit, with Tragedy Girls. And, he's just I don't know. He kind of brings, I think Patchwork is something relatable to Tragedy Girls more than his other work. It's a kind of a neat little Frankenstein feminist story. It gets pretty bloody. It's, kind of funny at times. I know I said comedy too many times, and probably it was like people are like, so comedy is probably the wrong word, but there is some moments, especially when the 3 girls start arguing and shit. It gets comical. But yeah, did a whole kind of making of with new interviews, cast and crew. There's an archival commentary. There is a commentary of Tyler and my good friend, critic Matt Donato, who actually helped produce a lot of these extras, who was kind of like essential in getting this movie to my even attention, because I never thought this would, come out, because it was like one of those movies that was on Netflix and then just kind of like disappeared. Yeah. But luckily the rights went back to Tyler, and we were able to, acquire it there and do a whole new restoration, which is cool, because a lot of times, when you're dealing with films from like the year probably like 2007 to like 2015, it's hard to sometimes get like a 4K master, because most of these movies are mastered in 2K, and they don't have the material anymore. So you're either doing an upscale, unless like a DI was created, 2K DI or something, which is a little bit easier to, up-res. But, they were lucky to actually keep all their material for the film, and went back, and we just basically recreated, Tyler recreated the movie essentially to do a 4K a true 4K export. So because they shot it in 4K, but they mastered it in 2K, so they went back, which is pretty silly. But it is I say that because of like cost
right.
and everything. And you're like, why revisit the movie again? Especially a movie that's, kind of unknown. It's a lot of work and effort and time and money. But we were happy to do it. Happy that it's out there. And see Patchwork.
That's the TerrorVision way, to go above and beyond like that. I can't wait until everybody gets to hear all the details behind, like, Melvin Goes to Dinner, when we finally talk about all that later this year.
Yeah, we're doing the same thing with Melvin Goes to Dinner, which is a little bit different because it's shot in HD cam, but we're naturally going back to the original tapes to get a better picture quality and re-export the movie. instead of up-resing an old file. So
Well, Ryan, I saw you answering on Facebook a question similar to this in the chat. Will we get Arbor Day before next week? Let's talk about Sledgehammer, Arbor Day, and Invader.
it's one of the funniest ways to ask, because usually like people like you're probably kind of being a dick anyway, but it's a funny way to do it. But we usually just dick comments like, "Where's this?" You know. Yeah. But that's that's pretty funny. We get Arbor Day before Arbor Day. Yes,
Arbor Day is finished. Everything. Those three are finished. We're currently waiting on check discs, which I think were shipped yesterday. Brad and I told them to hold the 3 pallets of all that stuff, Sledgehammer, Invader, and Arbor Day, until we go through every nook and cranny of the discs, because I just can't. Our warehouse is so small. Like, I think people think we're something that we're not. Like, this is an incredibly small company.
Right.
We can't handle like massive pallets, not like small pallets, massive pallets coming in and then finding out that there's an issue. And then the manufacturer wants us to ship all those pallets back, it's just a whole lot. We don't even have a warehouse since last year. So it's all out of this fucking shithole little place. It's all a nightmare. Point being, Brad and I are going to go through everything next week. Once we give the thumbs up, then they'll ship. It's done. So it does take like an extra week, ish to do it this way, but I don't give a fuck. We've waited this long. Everyone's waited a long time. I'm sorry, but I'd rather kick it back another 7 days so that we don't have to do any sort of replacements. Or I should say, if Brad and I go through it and there's something amiss, at least we don't have, what is it? 246, like 6,500, 7,000, whatever Blu-rays just taking up space that are useless to us. So, fingers crossed that's not an issue.
Well, and to clarify, what we're doing now is that typically how this rolls is that we proof everything before it's authored. The disc is authored, and then we get a check disc from there, verifying everything is okay, which is the final piece, other than the disc coming to you, like the package disc, opening it up and putting into a player, which we do, and they check functionality. That's it. But we're doing now an extra step of the actual product and checking that, because we had an issue with Devil's Sword. We had an issue with, Suddenly in the Dark. Children of Violent Rome was a cover problem. But yeah, we're actually going to check that, because typically checking the check disc is the final piece, but apparently not. So we're going to take this extra step. It will delay a few days, but the full responsibility will fall on us at the end of the day.
Well, and this has been a widespread thing. Multiple other labels have been having issues over the last few months. Manufacturing is just hit hard right now. There's a lot of labels increasing output. There's a lot of labels, having issues because of tariff stuff and people trying to determine suppliers and all that fun crap that comes with this.
Yeah, a lot of people have had issues, so it's hopefully been rectified.
I don't care if every label has issues. I don't want to have issues. So this is the only way we can guarantee there are no issues, is by the final copy coming to Brad and I first, and we watch them, approve of them. They're already made, so it doesn't require anything but me paying for the pallet to get to Savannah. But again, it will delay it by a week. But the good news is everything is done. So, and not everything. Those 3 titles are done.
Well, the only other title left, do we have anything to say on Gatorbait? Anything that we want to tell everybody just to stop asking?
So as people know, like when we announced that we're having issues with the reel and kind of in hopes for people to contact us, we had that happen, which is kind of what we wanted. So we've received, different reels, and nothing has kind of like been complete. However, we recently had something where it's kind of silly. Well, as soon as we get hard confirmation, we will say exactly what it is, but things are looking better, and then things look a little worse but are okay, that type of thing. So we're still kind of working through that because we're still getting people telling us, hey, I might have this or this might be here, that sort of thing, and we have to investigate each one because we want things to be the best, because this we're not going to redo it if we find like the reel, then like immediately redo it. No, we'd have to like wait. So much money has already went into it, so we want to exhaust every avenue and be completely sure. And I think we're almost there. So yeah. Anyways.
All right. Ryan, today's mostly on you, I think. Are we ready to start talking about some new stuff?
Nice one, Brad.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think let's what do you think? There's 2 new things to announce.
Yeah.
How should I do
just
it?
To keep expectations in check, there's no movies today, by the way. So
yeah, goodbye everyone.
No video releases, but lots of cool stuff to unwrap.
Yeah, we
here.
still have some really cool shit. Just we don't want to give people's hopes up because that said, we had to delay a couple things. One, because we owe people Arbor Day and Invader, Sledgehammer. We owe people that, so we wanted to push it back, and we also have a couple things we want to finalize, so we're not having more delays. So yeah, that's the issue with kind of today's announcement. This stuff is very different. This is a different realm. So,
all right.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with the thing that we're not actually announcing today that we're announcing today.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. Yes, absolutely.
So basically, friends, we're growing at a unique pace because it's seemingly I don't have any more money, right? But yet there's so much happening, and I have a vinyl pressing plant now, so I can do anything. But yet I don't have any money because the vinyl pressing plant took all my money. But with that vinyl pressing plant allows the opportunity to do really anything at all we want for a very tiny amount of money. So for the past 12 months, I've been teasing a bunch of cool stuff on TerraVision vinyl wise that it's really made no sense to do because it won't sell. So instead of worrying about sort of the economy of these things, we are going to do a new sort of sub-label, if you will, to TerraVision called Cellar Dweller, which is basically anything that I think will probably sell less than 100 copies, probably like 50 copies, if we're being honest, like really micro stuff that I can't force the fairly large, sizable TerraVision Record Club to receive automatically. You can still opt in for this stuff, just like on the Blu-ray side of things for sub-labels and whatnot. So basically with Cellar Dweller, we've got a couple things planned. If you recall 15 months ago, I said we were going to do slashers on vinyl because I fucking love the score of that. And I had TerraVision Record Clubbers say if they wanted it, and seven people wanted it. So I've been hemming and hawing of like how I want this out. How do I justify it? Well, that's why it took so long, because I knew behind the scenes I was working on opening a vinyl pressing plant. I want it to exist because I want it. It will be a Cellar Dweller release. Same goes with Sledgehammer. Like, that's a fucking great score. Brad and I love it. So we're going to put that on Cellar Dweller. Again, these are things that you're going to be able to opt in for if you want them as a part of your club sub. But I just can't force everyone to take them. The biggest release, and I'm using that pretty loosely because I think we'll sell about 100 units. But it is the most requested sort of small thing is the jar. So the jar will come out on Cellar Dweller. All this stuff will come out post Halloween. I'm not taking pre-orders. Vinyl is not for Cellar Dweller stuff. If we have it in hand, we're going to put it up and you'll just buy it. No pre-orders. I'm just letting you know some of the stuff that's coming. If you're not familiar with the jar, it's got seriously like one of the sickest synth scores ever.
And Brad wants you to dance, and so here is a preview.
You're gonna play it. My dogs started going crazy when I danced, so I won't do that again.
And we'll keep previewing a couple of the tracks as background music as we go.
Yeah. Hey. Stop. Yeah. The jar is definitely something we wanted to do, but it was always scary to put it out because things just not doing well, especially unknown stuff. And we kind of like what Ryan said was that you announce Slashers, you're excited about it. And then you realize that only just a few people wanted it. And it's like, well, we can't do that as a TerraVision release. So, yeah, that type of thing. It'll get weird. It'll be a pretty weird label. Starting off with Sledgehammer in the jar and Slashers. Which all three are great. We just can't mass produce them,
Well, that's just it. I can make as few copies as I need to at the pressing plant, and that's what's exciting really about the future of Greyface and TerraVision and Cellar Dweller and anything else that we do. And like I said, if you're a member of the sub, you can just opt in at that point in time. This is not a pre-order announcement, sidebar. Like, there's nothing to buy as it pertains to Cellar Dweller. This is merely just communicating, because why wouldn't we communicate with you? You're the people that we should be communicating with. Right, Ryan?
Yes. And at other junctures, like, you couldn't just do a one-off of like 30 copies of something because it wouldn't have been cost effective. It never would have worked. So now that you've got a plant,
well, they don't even. Yeah. They don't like. Yeah, I guess.
Right.
For people that don't manufacture vinyl or anything, like, there is no. Now you see, with the rise of these new machines that have been manufactured over the past 15 years, there's a couple small run companies, but even small runs are usually 250 to 500.
Right.
My plant, my whole goal is to do 200 or less to fill that void that I see, where you're really just making stuff based on passion and a genuine interest. So that's really what this is about. And yeah, we could have never. we just for reference point, every TerraVision release costs minimally $12 to $15. I'm talking about the vinyl. So, and you have to be committed to 500 to 1,000 to get that price. So you do the math. I will die with 900 and probably 93 units of the jar if we were to manufacture it elsewhere.
But instead, we're leaving that for the sender.
Yeah, the sender.
Very
so we made some mistakes. We've made some
Yeah.
mistakes.
And
I mean, really,
it's a promo to buy the sender.
yeah. But the problem is, like, vinyl. I know people read articles and they're like, vinyl's back in. Yeah, Taylor Swift has sold 50 billion copies of whatever turd she's promoting. No offense, I'm sure she's great. I just don't give a fuck. That doesn't apply to people that are in my tiny little niche. Like, it doesn't. Vinyl is definitely not doing well. It is every company you see that's doing these weird releases, mainly soundtrack stuff, is not doing well. I mean, we're not thriving. So just keep that in mind. Not that it matters to anyone, but it is important because I think it's an important discussion to have, because I think the perception, companies are not transparent, and thus the way they promote their products is, hey, everything's great, guys, keep buying this awesome stuff. But behind the scenes, they're calling me and things are grim. So if they have one successful release a year, that usually fronts all this other stuff that's kind of more niche and weird. So the more weird shit you buy, the better.
Helps everybody. All right. Everybody in the Discord already is erupting over the fact that the word Haxan is in the thumbnail today. Are we ready for the second?
Okay. So it's kind of the same announcement that we just did, but totally different.
Oh, that does not show up at all because there's no white background. I'll keep that hidden.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pull out a white. You just do some clip art or something.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, and you talk, Ryan. No, we got it. We're good.
So that Cellar Dweller will announce some titles, say November 1st. I'm making that up. The actual announcement for today is Haxan.
That works.
Yeah.
You can keep talking. They can hear you.
No, I'm just admiring my wife's artwork.
It is really great.
So it's story time, ladies and gents. Haxan. I started this company called Haxan. It's not a real company. It's just one of my dumb things that I do. 10 years ago, I wanted to start doing illegal supper clubs in and around Savannah. So I would rent someone's house in some really weird place and then hire a chef to come up with a 5-course meal. And then I would do the beverages and the cocktail program. And it went super well. Everything was sold out. We called it Haxan. We had this, my wife is a tattoo artist. So she came up with this logo, what you just saw. And if you got that tattooed anywhere on your body, you would get 10% off Haxan Supper Club dinners forever, which is actually really funny if you think about it. So how does this relate to an announcement today, you ask? I don't really know, other than I like the name. And then people already have it tattooed on their body, which, again, is funny. So the concept is we keep getting really cool offers of things that we are interested in releasing that just simply do not fit on TerraVision as sort of a mainline TerraVision release. So we've historically actually turned down quite a bit of stuff, mostly contemporary, past 10, 15 years, just neat stuff that I just couldn't figure out how to, again, crowbar onto the clubbers. I'm very considerate about people that are giving me a lot of money. So Haxan will be the home for anything like that, anything new and exciting and contemporary, and just maybe doesn't fit the traditional, whatever grimy ass aesthetic that TerraVision has had for the past decade. So that is the concept of Haxan. Yeah,
I'm into it. Yes.
It's a perfect, great explanation. Yes.
Thanks. So Brad,
Yes.
you're too silent today. So you announce what we're doing.
Just letting you have the floor. So yeah, to piggyback off what Ryan said, it's exciting because we are sometimes we can't do certain things that we want to do at TerraVision because we're afraid of, there's a certain brand, it's a certain aesthetic for things, and we don't want to sometimes step outside that because that's where your fan base, essentially built, and you trust, they trust you.
Right.
So, Haxton's first title, which is exciting because it opens a door for Warner Brothers for us. But this is the Conjuring Last Rites LP and cassette, which will be the first Haxton title, which I like the Conjuring films, and Benjamin Wallfish scored this one, which is usually Joseph Bashara is the composer for the past Conjuring films and Annabelle and Insidious movies and stuff. So yeah, it's exciting because this opens a big door for us in many ways, and not just with a studio, but also with other soundtracks that we've been interested in doing, but kind of afraid to do. So this will be a double LP. And I dig this because if you're a fan of The Conjuring or even the music, Joseph Bashara, he uses a very different technique, and also just and this actually funnels well into kind of the talk about what TerraVision is, because TerraVision has a lot of synth stuff, those types of scores, with kind of this new age of people like Benjamin Wallfish and but Bashara, is that they incorporate a lot of like sound design into their scores rather than being a traditional score. They do like kind of a hybrid of both, which can be a little jarring compared to what we typically do at TerraVision. Like you're not going to go night listening to the Conjuring score sometimes, but this one I do like kind of how Wallfish does his own thing and uses more melody in your traditional music versus kind of like detuned instruments and like string scraping is what I call it with like Bashara, which is still great. It works for like Insidious. Like Insidious has one of the scariest fucking soundtracks.
It's great.
I think, because it's that like I'm not gonna sit down to that. But The Conjuring with The Last Rites, you have tracks. I think there's like Judy and someone, and like I think that one of the other tracks is We Love Everyone or whatever, and it's very pretty, like piano, melodic, like beautiful tracks. So you can kind of hear Wallfish's adapting Bashara, but also doing his own thing, and again making kind of a hybrid. And he still kind of mimics that feel of those past movies, because Bashara really did help create this universe of these songs and movies. So I think Wallfish is, I don't know why he didn't do it, but Wallfish is just as good, I think. And this one's easier to listen to because, again, I don't know if I would ever listen to Insidious. Like, I love the music in Insidious, but I can't imagine. I don't want to be scared. God. It's gonna be like that foot from Hide and Go Streak with the tattoo. It's terrible.
I had that picture ready again.
So yeah, it's neat to be able to be the ones to kind of take these scores, because there's a lot of still cool stuff that's being done now, and sometimes we focus on retro stuff. I think these new composers are doing really, really good work. I am not doing that sound again.
Do you see this? Justin says it sounds like you're on a roller coaster.
But yeah, no, it's really good. I highly suggest. This is also this is coming from our new pressing plant too, right? Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this.
Which is neat.
Yeah, it's a very different world, working with Warner Brothers, and it's honestly pretty exciting. The last Warner Brothers project we had was Freddy's Nightmares, actually. So it's been 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, that's cool. I'm glad they're entrusting us with this, and even quite frankly, allowing us to have our new Haxon brand on this project. Like, that was very kind of them to allow, as they requested TerraVision release it, not Haxon, and
Right.
They liked the concept. So yeah, that's up. I just made it live, so it's on the website now. And if you're a member of the Record Club, you can add it for free if you want it against your sub spot. If you choose that option, we will make you, because I'm manufacturing it, we will make you a color that doesn't exist elsewhere, which I'll call hand pour, meaning I imagine there'll only be like 10 or so clubbers to do it, but you'll get a hand pour from either Brian, Phil, or myself, who are the 3 people that can press records. So
It's pretty damn rad to have that option. I mean, not many other labels doing this are just like, yeah, we'll make it custom color, no big deal, no upcharge, nothing.
Yeah, well, we're special.
Well, and it shows the care. I mean, with everything we just talked about not, I mean, somebody even just said it, thanks for not watering down the main TerraVision line. Literally, when you're making decisions over the last decade about what to put out on TerraVision, it's because you have a ton of people that they are loyal to you, and in return you're loyal to them. That should mean a lot for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, they've literally built our career, so I would
right.
And I see what people respond to. Quite frankly, it's usually the same shit I respond to. So it's not, mainline TerraVision's not very difficult to program, but all this other cool stuff that comes in is. But now with Cellar Dweller and Haxon, technically all bases would be covered between the really sort of lowbrow stuff and the sort of higher brow contemporary stuff, and then wherever mainline lands, then we're good. We can just do whatever we want, and that's pretty exciting.
It's a big deal. Brad, any other thoughts?
No, I'm excited for TerraVision. I'm just excited that we're able to do this because, Ryan and I have that conversation when we just talk. It's like, hey, have you heard this? Have you heard that? And it's like, well, too bad we can't do that because it wouldn't fit in. And, now it's a little bit easier. That's the reason why Greyface was, the video line was created for that, and we'll have probably a couple other sub labels of things that, at first, I mean, it's cool to do everything under one umbrella, but when you do like a thing for so long, people get used to that. So, obviously, I'm excited to see kind of where it goes, where it grows, and some of these, cool soundtracks that we can officially put on Wax. So,
all right, Ryan, any other details? Anything else to share?
Well, I saw someone ask about They're Suddenly in the Dark. I mean, those are all out the door. So if you haven't gotten a shipping notice, my guess is either you bought it with something else that isn't shipping, which is probably what it is, or you bought it in the wholesale portal and you haven't received a shipment since then or something. But yes, I'm guessing that's what's up, but you can feel free to email me. I love how people always say no one responds to emails, and yet we respond to everything. So I'm guessing it's in a spam folder or something.
That, and I'll also caveat, if you're not getting an email response, likely it's because the question's been answered like 800 times in other locations, and we're getting hundreds of emails every single day. There's not we're not here to actively ignore people. I mean, there's
Yeah.
questions that we don't need to waste time to email. And if you just take 5 seconds, you save TerraVision like 10 minutes, and that should be considered as well.
Well, also, like, yeah, I mean, Elena gets a lot of emails, and it takes a long time to go through them. And it doesn't help when there's kind of just silly questions and concerns, and then you go online and you blow it up to something bigger, like we're being dicks. It's like, okay, well, I don't know if that really counts. Like, of course, we're gonna like not answer an email. Is like, are you releasing L's on Blu-ray? No, we're not gonna fucking answer that email. Get out of here.
Ryan, you got a question here from another Ryan. Cellar Dweller and Haxon, will there be titles released on CD, or will it only be vinyl?
Probably vinyl and cassette, unless the composer wants us to do. I am not a CD guy, so if some interested party wants us to, we will. But honestly, like, Rockafire did bad. It was amazing on vinyl, and then like nothing on CD. Unsolved Mysteries, massive on vinyl, and like maybe 100 copies on CD. So like, if the bigger titles can't sell, can you imagine the Jar on CD? That would be. I love the idea, like, but no.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it'd be cool. Like, we would just make more money, essentially, if they did well, but we waste money because we just sit on boxes of CDs. Because, yeah, if Unsolved Mysteries doesn't, like, is the like, we put, like, big titles. What? Brain Damage, Basket Case, Unsolved Mysteries, and then nothing.
Well, even like we did Silent Night, Deadly Night as a double CD.
Oh yeah,
sold,
yeah.
I think it was 125 with the bundle that we did, and then since that bundle sold out, nothing. I mean, if you come up with a creative bundle, typically the things sell, which is why you see, you know, companies like Severin and us doing cool bundles often. But to be honest, we're so far behind just getting out titles. It's actually difficult to put focus into inventing like hyper creative, just fun stuff that isn't the release itself. So
yeah, and it also that has to make sense when we do it, you know. So.
Yeah. That's true. But that's also because the horror section wanted the CD, right? So that's exactly my point. If Warner Brothers was like, you have to do a Conjuring CD, I would have done it. I'm sure they have that license elsewhere, though. And someone asked something that I wanted to answer. Oh, the TV OP LPs coming back in print, meaning the ones that are out of print. Yeah, I'll definitely reprint the Miss Pussycat one because I actually just found not quite 500 of the original packaging from the first run. I probably did 1,000 packaging and 500 LPs. So we'll definitely make more of those. And then WNUF, I don't think I'll have to talk to Chris about it. I have not considered that. But we do have a new TV OP coming out for Black Friday that is not announced yet. That is an official Record Store Day thing. And if you thought the Rockafire release was weird, just wait.
I look forward to more weird articles putting us down for putting that out. Brad, I'm sure you want to talk about this one. Have you thought about doing a sub-label dedicated to family and animated movies?
Yeah, we talked about it. We'll probably end up doing it, but we need, in order to create like a sub-label, one, you need a good amount of titles, at least like 8 or 10. Am my internet cutting out or something?
It did earlier for like 5 seconds, but it wasn't terrible.
Okay, good. You made
I was laughing because you said that, and the first thing I thought of was Severin. We all love Severin, and Severin announced their Severin Kids line, and they've done, I think, 3 since that whole
yeah.
time.
Well,
And
yeah,
it's been
we want a
years.
few films, but Ryan and I have discussed we have probably, I would say, maybe 10, 15 like different, and they're weird like kids movies and stuff that was like on television, like made for TV, like kids movies. We have a couple like television titles that could slide to the kid line because they're PG-13. And they do kind of have like a Ripley is barking up a storm. I'm not sure if you can hear that. But there's a few titles, but we want to have at least, like I said, a few signed, so that way we know that we're good. But we also kind of need, like, you always want a banger. Like, you want like a big title to start, just to get noticed, or something that you really, really believe in, that you worked really hard with. I don't know. It's just that nothing's kind of hit just yet, but we're working on it.
All right. Any teases for next week before we call it a day?
No.
Yeah. So, what would you say? No.
No.
Yeah. I mean,
That was so perfect.
well, I wanted to say, or what I was going to say until I was brutally interrupted, was that, like I said in the beginning, anything could change at any given time when we're doing this stuff. And yeah, there's just kind of like an influx of certain things that's happening, and we want to be ready to announce something so we feel good about it and focused, rather than kind of, just doing it on a whim. And yeah, we just have it's like debts need to be paid with some of this other stuff. And yeah, since things are getting delayed, we're going to delay it, a little bit, but we'll have something, definitely next week. I just don't really know what we're going to do yet. One of the many things we have planned, it's just these things just shift and cycle,
All right.
Yeah.
On that note, I think
Feel
that's
like-
all we got. Anything else,
Were there
Ryan?
any other questions? I don't know.
Other
I'm
than
trying to
putting
scroll
out individual titles, that's mostly it.
Yeah. I don't think so. I do appreciate that the majority of you that have things on pre-order are not cunts. And then that's me being very sincere. I do appreciate that. As it's a lot for Elena, to be honest, and I feel bad for her with how rude some people are about physical media. Like, yeah, we promised September, or we promised August, and now it's September. Like, okay. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
the
know what
last
else
thing
to
we
say.
want to do is we want to hold on to something and not send something out. Like, that's the thing, is like, we don't want it in the warehouse, and two, we don't want your email about it. Like, it just takes up too much damn time, to go through all the bullshit of people getting mad. We're mad too. We would like the stuff a lot sooner,
For me, it's more so just how people talk to Elena. It's, again, 90% of everyone are very kind, and I'm sure she appreciates that. But some of the shit this summer, because these manufacturing companies are so far behind, not just with our shit in general. Ryan was alluding to that earlier. Not just that they're fucking up projects left and right, but it's such a small group of people that make this stuff, that physically have the machines to make these discs.
Right.
That, I mean, I just think it requires more patience. This is Brad and I included. Like, we have to be more patient, because I get so fucking stressed out, if you can't hear it in my voice, about how long everything takes.
Yep.
But I mean, our bills are paid. We approved proofs 3 months ago. Like, there's not a whole lot that we can do, other than I harass the shit out of them every day. But at the end of the day, life is precious, and really, I'm not trying to be a weirdo, but hold people that you love close. Be kind to each other. Physical media is great, but it ain't the end of the world if something is shipping 8 days later than we promised.
It's true. All right. On that note, we will maybe see you next Friday. There will be something next Friday. It might not be a live stream, but we'll figure it out before then. Thank you all for hanging out. We'll leave you with another track from the jar, and that's it. See you next time.
Yeah.
Oh, Brad, please sing along to this. I haven't started the track yet, but they can still hear you, so go right
I
ahead.
don't know if I can sing.